to Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I am Mr. Randy, and today we're going to be doing the full review of Old Tom Horan, the finest blended whiskey, finest blended Irish whiskey, traditionally distilled and carefully blended to import its subtle and distinct unique flavors. So this is a product of Ireland. More information on that. So it does come in at 40% alcohol by volume. It is imported. This comes in at 80 proof, and it is a full 750 standard. So here, there you are. It is imported through Princeton. So let's get some information on this. So if you're new to the channel, hello and welcome. All my old or returning viewers, welcome back. You know how we do. Come on in. Let's get on with the show. So let's talk about Old Tom here. Let's get to know Old Tom. It'd be better if I had some of my notes out so that I could, yeah. There we go. Interesting about Old Tom here is that Old Tom is sort of a, how should I say this? I forget what the word is when you have the two things that come together. Adjunctive. Anyway, so the old part of Old Tom does not refer to the man himself. Tom Horan is a person, real life, in our history, in Texas, and in the Irish community. So, old is referencing to the style of the Irish whiskey, the way it's made, the way it's handled, distilled, produced, what have you. The Tom part of it refers to an individual who was the a public relations manager in Houston, Texas for Irish heritage. Now, where does this spirit come from? Well, it is an Irish whiskey. It is made in Ireland. But the thing is, this is a Specs product. If you don't know what Specs is, it's like a big box wine, spirits, and fine foods kind of thing where you can get a lot of things. Anything and everything you would need, considering libations, is in this store. There's a pretty good sized one here in my town, but there's a much, much bigger one about 30-minute drive north of here. They're all over the place here in Texas. So the owner of Specs went over and bought up a whole bunch of Irish whiskey that was unallocated and I guess was just sitting around. So he snapped up all these barrels from here and there, and he got a bottler and started bottling. And when he came up to what do we name it, he came up with the Tom Horan. Tom Horan. And this was basically in honor of him and what he's done for not just here in Texas, but Irish in Texas. Excuse me. So it's kind of in a sense like Johnny Walker, where he bought up or continues to buy up. I'm not too sure about if it was a one-time deal or if it's a continuing type of line. But he purchased up a bunch of Irish whiskey that's not being used or not allocated. There's a sort of thing to that where you got to have enough barrels in order to go to a bottler, in order for the bottler company to bottle your whiskey. You have to have so many barrels or be able to fill so many bottles in order to get the order. So sometimes you fall short. Sometimes you might make that quota, but then the bottler might cut you off at a certain number and you got extra barrels sitting around. So this collects, I guess, in a warehouse somewhere, and those bottles start collecting. But then again, they do not want these barrels to be mixed. So they get labeled, and then they just sit. So then they become pretty much cheap barrels of whiskey to buy. So apparently the owner of Specs bought them up, bottled them up, labeled the bottles, and here we are with Old Tom. So Mr. Randy spent just under $25 out the door for this. It's a 40% alcohol by volume. It actually is relatively nice. It's got that nice golden Irish color, but let's go ahead and be unprepared for this video today. Where is the Mr. Randy's handy dandy whiskey color scale? There we go. Whiskey color scale off camera. We're going to nail this down probably to a, I'm going to say it's a deep brown. I wouldn't say it's quite the Cortado sherry, but I'm going to say it's a deep brown. On the nose, you're getting very sweet, very crisp, bright, vibrant. Very nice on the nose. Now, there's no age statement, of course, because it's probably a blend of who knows how many or how long each barrel has been maturing. There's not a whole lot, because, I mean, it's just sort of one of those situations where it just happened. I don't think there was a whole lot of planning on it, and in the sense of the same as Johnny Walker, they kind of do the same thing. They buy up a bunch of barrels and they mix them together, and that's what you get. You put it in the bottle and you sell it and people drink it. Let's go ahead and get it on the palate. Not bad. There's a weird sort of like almost candy flavor. It's got a little bit of oaky, sort of like somewhat, and not really citrus, but that odd sort of maybe ginger, little spiciness. It's got that sort of odd sweetness to it. I can't quite nail that one down yet. Working on it. Let's go ahead and get another one on the palate. Very easy, very smooth, very light drinker. I don't want to say it's bland, but it's more blandish, sort of on the blender side. There's not a whole lot trying to crawl out of this bottle. It's very mellow. It's not bad. It's like I keep thinking about that candy flavor. It's like that bubblegum. It's like that saccharine caked bubblegum we used to have back in like the 80s and 90s that you got from the dentist because you couldn't have sugar bubblegum, so that the dentist gave you this saccharine crap, and it had that powder on it, and it has that weird aftertaste. That's kind of what I'm getting. This is what it makes me think, oh man, this is taking me way back. Let's go ahead and get a finish on it. Oh, hold on, a little left in there. So now I'm getting some fruit on the finish. It's really pulling out more fruit. It's like dry fruit, red fruit. Much better on the finish. It's got a good nose. It's got a slightly better palate, and much better than that on the finish. It comes in relatively intense. Probably like a 2 stretching to a 3 out of 5 with the intensity. It's kind of an even and balanced sort of deal in the mouth on the finish. The cheeks, the tongue, basically the whole tongue, the whole mouth really, it's just well balanced on the finish all over the mouth. There's no one place that it comes up more than the other, except for the very back where it took a little while for that to come up. But now I'm getting that sort of aftertaste from that bubblegum. That sort of saccharine aftertaste where it's not horrible, but you know, if you ate a lot of that bubblegum, you got sick of it. The finish is going to be the best part about this. Nose, then you step up to the palate, then the palate steps up into the finish. It's a nice finish. I just think that lingering aftertaste may be a little off-putting for some people, but I think if you drink enough of it, you're not going to mind too much about it. So let's put a score on this, shall we? Given that this is a special product directly, like it's a store product, basically from Specs. It's got a good story behind it. It doesn't have its own website. It doesn't have anything dedicated to it because I guess it's a pet project, or they seem to do this. Specs seems to do this quite a bit. I do come across bottles now and then that are there for a little while and then they disappear. I see bottles that are supposed to come out and never do. Things that I see in my local area, I never see anywhere else. I'm going to try and focus on this. I'd like to talk to, I think maybe I can get a hold of one of the district managers and talk to them and see about if they have sort of line, or what do they do, if they have a schedule coming up. I'd like to get more of these bottles that most of you will not be able to see because they're very limited. They might be test runs. They might be just trying to get rid of stock that they have these barrels built up. And they're just like, hey, let's put it in a bottle, slap a label on it, and sell it and get rid of it, make $1 off of it. So my score for this $25, 40% ABV, finest blended Irish whiskey with a good background and dedication to a good person. I'd I'd give it a solid 3 out of 5. I'll give it a solid 3 out of 5, and that's not being generous or anything. That's solidly earned 3 out of 5. The only thing I think that's really holding us back from being more of a strong 3 out of 5, or possibly even a weak 4 out of 5, would be number one, that sort of weird aftertaste, that sort of saccharine aftertaste. You might not get it. If you do, let me know in the comments. I'd like to know that I'm not crazy about that. So number one, yeah, that weird saccharine type aftertaste. Number two, the price point. So my fair price for this bottle, given those caveats, those sort of drawbacks, I would say it's been somewhere between 15 to 25. I'd feel a lot better 15 to 20 instead of that 25. But if we could somehow get rid of that, maybe it'll change on the final pour. So I didn't really get that off the rip, but I got it more towards the middle. So maybe it's something during with the decay process and opening up that it sort of gives it off. That I didn't remember it off the rip. But we'll see what it's like on the final pour. And if it's still there, I'll let you know. So my fair price was about 15. Would I buy this again? No, I would not. This does come in 2 sizes, this one and the handle. Like I said, I did not see this until about a month or so prior to this video series. But let us know what you think about Old Tom. Do you see Old Tom in your area? Is it anywhere outside of Specs? That would be quite the interesting talk. Well, as always, thanks for stopping by here at Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. You have a good one.